although part 2 is going to be fairly quick because it's just a couple of things to think about at the beginning, and you probably only do them once. So you have pmaps Avebury, but if you take a copy of that now and call it my big map, put it to one side because you know that the setup and the configuration for Avebury is all working. So soon, when you start your proper map, you'll be able to go into that folder, your new folder, and change all the instances of the word Avebury. Then you can import your full-size sat map and images and make a big map, but you'll be doing it in a framework that you know works. So start small, but make a copy of it now while it's small. Anyway, Avebury. So what we want to do is just refine our layers a little bit. And again, you'll only do this once at the beginning, but it introduces a concept that will run all the way through the whole project. Okay, so in the source folder, you'll notice I've given these are GIMP, but Photoshop's the same, obviously. And what I did was made a copy of the bitmaps that we got from QGIS. Humongous bitmaps as well, some of them. So what I'd recommend is to convert them to PNG. So PNG for satellite image, yeah, I know we'll perhaps come up with a better version later on, but for now I'm going to file export as. So remember, these are that we're working on now, separate image files that are soon going to have many layers of their own. So your project becomes a whole collection of files that are themselves collections of lots of layers. And yeah, layers becomes a theme all the way through. So I'm going to file export as QGIS. I'm going to put them back where they came from, but I'm going to call it my satmap PNG with no compression, and the same for the surface mask. So file export as, back where it came from, so surface mask, let's call it my surface mask, and then it'll be the same, won't it? .png. And again, no compression. I'll tell you what I'm going to do as well here. Surface mask, you want good sharp edges. I'll show you why in a second. So I'm also going to index it, change it from RGB to indexed. It'll want to give you a certain number of colours. We'll take 32. And now you know that this document, this image, and the surface mask it generates will only ever contain colours that you control. So let's file export as my surface mask and export. Close those down. Okay, so this is the point I was getting to. So you don't do this very often. Remove. I'm going to remove that one as well because we're about to replace them with our new ones. So I go import satellite, pmaps Avebury, source, QGIS, export, and we want my satmap PNG. See, this is the one, the new one. There it is importing. You may have to adjust these, easing northing, but probably not. And there's our new PNG version. We'll do the same for the surface mask. My surface mask. Okay, save that project, and it will render out the same as it did before. But given that we've made changes to the surface mask, you are going to need to regenerate layers. We'll do that in a second. So let me explain why, certainly the changes to the surface mask, why it's important. So back in GIMP, the colours in the surface mask represent the surfaces that the game will show you when it renders in game. If there's a point to this video, this is it. You don't see those surfaces when you're working in Bulldozer. They are there, but they're a little bit subtle. It takes a while until you realise you need to see it in game to see the actual surfaces. So the colour you see on the surface mask represents the colour that you set in, can you guess, source and layers. So you may have edited this before, but the colours you see in here, so the colour for grass, RGB 128.197.46. So that colour, if you want grass on the surface, must be in your surface mask. Now, we've indexed it with 32 colours, so we've got room here to add a new colour. Make sure it's RGB, and the colour wants to be let's do broadleaf dense, so 102, 171, 3. This green here then, 102, 1713, 102, 1713. So, if we apply an amount of colour on this surface mask with this colour, let's do it. I'll draw on just a little bit. That will make a little a little square in the map with a surface of broadleaf dense. Yep, broadleaf dense is that colour. So if I'll save it and then export to the surface mask. Yep, back in Terrain Builder. Now remember, we deleted it before. We don't want to delete it again, really. But what we can do is refresh content from source, and there you see we've now got the new surface mask. So this routine of edit surface mask, certainly the satellite image, because we don't want humanity in there. We want clone brush experts. Look away now. But same routine as we just did. Save it, and then because it's linked together here in Terrain Builder, when I refresh content from source, so make edits in your external programs, refresh it, and then there it is, made the change. Okay, so we've made a change to the satellite image and we refreshed from source, and we made a change to the surface mask, and again we refreshed from source. But what we've done here is we've separated out the idea that generating your layers, the surface mask and satellite imagery, can happen outside in a separate program, be it GIMP or Photoshop, and then you update those files and then refresh them into Terrain Builder. So we made a little patch of broadleaf dense here. Clearly we need a forest on it. We'll do that in part 3.